Why you got your back turned to me? Why would I even need to look at you? You're not better than me. Didn't people always say, don't worry about people that are beneath you and I'm above you? Listen, I'm the more mature version of both of us. So I should be considered better than you. Anyway, my spray is better. I'm easier to find because more people want me. I have what all the ladies want, man. I have lavender. Lavender? That's all you can speak on is that you have lavender? I have lavender too. Plus I have rose. Plus I have leather. You're everywhere because you're common. See, I'm hard to find. Even when people find me, I'm more expensive. So trust me, I am so much better than what you are. You can't possibly think that you're better than me. I look better, I feel better, I smell better, I am better. Why are you so immature about this? Just admit that I am so much better than you. It's really that simple. Don't get mad at me, all because our wife says that I smell better than you. You know what? Let's let the people decide. Yeah, let's let the people decide. Cause trust me, once they hear everything, they gonna pick me over you anyway. I am the better version of us. Hey everybody, it's Ronnie from Scent Science, back with another video. And today, by special request, we're going to match up two of my favorite Dior fragrances, two of your favorite Dior fragrances, Dior Intense and Dior Parfum. Two of these fragrances are classics, amazing masculine iris scents that oozes sexiness, it's mass appealing, and it's overall a great fragrance for most seasons. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 500 subscribers and we're almost there. We're almost at 350 on the road to 500. First up, Dior Parfum. Shout out Celtic Superfan for the video idea. The full name of this fragrance is Dior Homme Parfum. I believe it was released back in 2014. This beauty by Christian Dior has a top of iris, and you'll get this from both of their fragrances. A middle of sandalwood and roses, with the base being leather and vanilla, and some cedarwood. This is such an amazing date night, special occasion, black tie affair type of fragrance. One thing about the fragrances I'm gonna speak on, especially here on the channel, is that these fragrances are different depending on their batch codes. Earlier batches of Dior Parfum as well as Intense, a lot of their base notes was a little bit more forward, especially the leather in here. You'll only smell a little bit of the leather nowadays in this iteration of it from this particular batch code that I own, but I've smelled past ones where the leather is a little bit more pronounced. That doesn't mean that this fragrance isn't good. That doesn't mean that this fragrance is a second-rate version of the other one. It just means that the reformulation made it just slightly different. But this right here is still an amazing fragrance. It gets the job done. You will get a multitude of different compliments from it. I would even put this fragrance in the line of beast mode fragrances, all because it will project. The sillage on it is really nice, and it's going to last 8 to 10 hours on skin. Sometimes, depending on the material, it will even last an extra day on clothing. I've worn this to a black tie affair. I got 2 days on that cotton blend shirt that I own. Quick story time. Me and my wife was out to a place called Steak 48, a very popular place in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I had this on. I was looking fly, I was looking suave. We should have took more pictures of it. If I can dig up a picture of that night, I'll let y'all see the outfit that I had on. As soon as we walked through the door, I got a compliment with it. My wife got a compliment on her perfume as well, but I was shocked of how long this actually lasted, because we didn't just leave the house at 7 o'clock and our reservation was at 8. We actually left the house at 12. We had to run some errands, come back, change, and it was still as loud as can be. I thought that I would have to put on more cologne. I actually got nose blind to this. So this is one of the fragrances that you will be nose blind to. I actually got compliments from a few business guys that day and an attorney that I met there. He was a really cool guy, gave me some really good tips on what kind of steak to get. And from that day, I only eat medium steaks. This right here definitely leans extremely sophisticated. You would wear this mostly at night mostly during the cooler months. Now, I did have a subscriber leave a comment under the video talking about certain regions and certain areas of the continental United States that really don't have a change in season. That's usually going to be the lower parts of Florida going into Louisiana, certain parts of the lower half of Mississippi that are going to be extremely humid and extremely hot. So I would say max, I would wear this maybe 77 degrees if the humidity is high. Moderate humidity, I would say even 80 would go kind of light. This right here is a nighttime darker type of fragrance. Even though it has lavender, it has that iris, it's going to be a little bit of that leather. You have to be a little bit cautious of this one right here, because a little bit too much juice, it may have yourself a bad time in the heat. But because of that subscriber, thank you for putting me on point. Thank you for, having me think a little bit outside of the box. I do take y'all's advice because y'all are ingesting the content and watching the content. Like I said, 77 on some high humidity, 80 with moderate humidity and under would be perfect for this fragrance. If you're in one of those states where the humidity is really not high, but it's still kind of a warmer day at night, you can still wear this. I say about 84 degrees, 85 max. Don't go heavy on it. This one right here, max maybe 4 sprays. You'll have yourself a good time and you will get compliments on it. Next up, Dior Homme Intense. Now, this is slightly different. You have less notes in this one right here. It's still going to give you that projection. The longevity will go down a little bit. I would say this is going to stay on your skin about roughly 6 hours. You may get 8 hours, but like I always say, hydrate, stay hydrated. Lotion or moisturize your skin fresh out of a nice warm to hot shower is going to make any fragrance last longer. Now this one right here, definitely a little bit more playful. This is still a fragrance that I would suggest when the sun goes down. The good thing here about this fragrance is at warmer temperatures, you can still wear this. For my higher humidity folks in the continental US, I would definitely say this can go all the way up to about 82, 83 versus the Parfum, because Parfum is just slightly darker. This one right here definitely lasts. On clothes, you might get about 12 to 16 hours. Now, one complaint that I do hear from this is that on the initial spray, you have a little bit of that makeup. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually spray both. I should have done that earlier, but it's fine. We'll put it in here. I'll spray both of them. We'll smell how their top is, and then we'll smell the dry down. For Dior Intense, even though it is intense, and this is just a tip here that I'm gonna give, all because a fragrance says that it is intense does not mean that it is beast mode. Beast mode does not mean intense. Parfum sometimes means beast mode. And you'll get that through different fragrances that you will encounter over your fragrance journeys. That's something just to remember. So don't let the word intense get you in the mindset that this fragrance is somehow stronger or better. It just means that it's a different iteration of the fragrances sometimes. Now, there are some fragrances that defy that logic, but in most instances, the fragrance is just slightly different. They usually either take away or add something to the fragrance. Now, Intense has been out longer. Intense been out in 2017 versus the Parfum roughly 2014, with a top note of lavender, with the middle being iris, the base some cedarwood, a little bit of vetiver, and vanilla. A lot of people would consider this a slightly floral oriental scent. I don't get that at all. What I get is a kind of on top, lipsticky, slightly powdery, even though the notes doesn't say that it has that powder in it, type of romantic sweetness. When I smell that fragrance, I think of a romantic guy off of those old Fabio books or on those Lifetime movies. The guy that's playful but romantic, charming but intelligent. Not 007, but maybe 007's younger cousin. Even though the younger cousin is older in this situation, that's just what I get when I'm smelling this fragrance. It is an amazing fragrance. It's going to last. You'll have no problems with it. You'll get compliments with it. Story time. So with this fragrance, I remember the first time wearing it, I was going out to the park with my wife. Me and my wife do wedding photography. Anytime we get new equipment, we always test it out at the park, just taking different kind of photography. And I put this on maybe about 30 minutes before we got there. As soon as we stepped outside, there was a group of little soccer girls, a soccer mom coming out. There was a gust of wind and the soccer mom smelt it and was like, "Oh, ma'am, I like your perfume." My wife didn't have on anything. I was like, "Oh, it must be my cologne." So she gave me a compliment thinking that this was perfume. And I just decided to ask her, "What do you think it smells like?" And she said, "It kind of smells like some lavender body spray and some lipstick," which was a little weird. Later on that day, just taking snapshots and taking pictures, there were some runners coming by, 2 guys. "Hey man, your cologne smells good." I was like, "Oh, appreciate it." Somebody thought it was perfume and they was like, "Oh, how can this be perfume?" And I asked them, "What does it smell like to you?" He says, "It smells like you're ready to have a night on the town." I was like, "Okay, thank you for your input." So this right here is going to be a little polarizing because to some people's noses it's going to lean a little feminine, and to some people's noses it's going to be a masculine fragrance. So it's all going to matter on who is smelling this. Now let's get a good whiff of how this smells on skin. The first initial reaction, I definitely smell that lipstick. It definitely kind of gives off a perfumish Avon vibe. Y'all remember Avon? Those salesmen and saleswomen that come and sell you all their products and facials and everything. Yeah, I get that off top. All right, now that it dried down, you're definitely starting to smell some of the cedar, a whole bunch of the lavender, some vanilla, and a little bit of powder, like a little bit of baby powder, just a little bit of baby powder. You can definitely smell that on there, but the lipstick has faded. It's been about roughly 30 minutes. Yeah, it's starting to finally become a little bit more masculine, but this right here definitely be considered unisex. So this can go on both sides of the spectrum. So it all depends on who is smelling this on you. And I didn't wear anything today, so this is like fresh skin. All right, so let's give a smell of Dior Homme Parfum. On first initial sniff, I definitely smell the leather, but the leather does not smell expensive. The leather smells, sad to say, the leather smells a little cheap, but that's just off the top, because I can definitely smell the lavender on top. I definitely smell some of the iris. Let's let that dry down for a little bit. It's been 30 minutes, so let's see what the dry down smells like. It's definitely got a more masculine powder to it. Not baby powder, but a little bit more of a masculine powder to it because of that iris and some of that lavender. I definitely smell the vanilla and the cedar. It smells woody, like very woody. This is what it smells like to me. It smells like if you were to throw baby powder on an oak tree and then get a iris plant and rub it in and wet it a little bit. I know that sounds weird, but just follow me here, follow me here, follow me here. It definitely smells amazing. Now that I have both of them on my hands, let's see which one smells the best. I gotta give it a parfum here. I gotta give it a parfum. The only reason being is because I can't get over that slight lipstick makeup-y smell from the Intense. This one smells a little too unisex for my taste. I know my wife loves the unisex fragrances and she actually thinks that the Intense is her favorite, and I gotta go with the parfum with mine, but different strokes for different folks and different occasions. Like I said before, black tie event, I'm definitely wearing parfum at a black tie event. Going out into the evening, I'm definitely wearing the Intense. It's just a little bit more playful than having the black tie all the time. You can get away with both of these with no issues. Just remember what I said, both of these fragrances, I would kind of go light, max maybe 4 sprays. If it's a little bit colder for the intense, I would give it 1 more spray. I would give it 5 sprays. But both the atomizers are amazing. Both the atomizers are going to give you that juice. Both of those atomizers are definitely going to spread things out for you. I don't know, I'm liking the intense. It's just one of those weird back and forth battles. I would recommend people to find a decant if you can, of both fragrances. Try them out, give them both a wear, see what kind of reactions you'll get. We're coming into that autumn season, we're coming into that fall season, so you'll be able to at least figure out what exactly you would wear. Would I pick up both full bottles of these? Yes, most definitely. Would I pay retail for them? No, of course not. They are hard to find on discounters, especially the Parfum version. If you were to find it at Aura Fragrances or fragrance.net or fragrancebuy.ca, they usually get picked up like that. So this is going to be one of those that you would have to look out for. Let me know if you want me to set up a private Discord or maybe even a mailing list when I see these fragrances that I mentioned here and fragrances in future videos go on sale at these discounters, so you'll be the first one to know. Both of these fragrances are amazing. Both of these fragrances are timeless. I may do a video on batch codes because that's actually a very important topic to dive into. I want to do a little bit more research on them as well because I'm really starting to get in tune with a different array of batch codes and what they mean for certain fragrances, because there have been certain chemicals that have been outlawed that come from different countries that they need to make these fragrances. So that's one of the reasons why a lot of fragrances have been reformulated. It's just not to keep costs down, but it's also because of different government regulations. Pretty soon, I'm coming to you with my favorite liqueurs video. And with those liqueur videos, you'll see every single one of my favorite liqueurs. It's coming really soon. I'm just waiting on one more fragrance and it's due tomorrow. So we'll see if that comes in the mail. This is Ronnie from Scent Science.